We want to be rich like the white man. We want to float like the white man. We want to stunt like the white man. We want to have all of these things that the white man have. Well, vote like the white man.
Yes. We hear Black Week. I ran into Gary Chambers. If you know me from my page, big supporter of Gary Chambers. He's one of the community leaders, I would say, that really pushing the word forward toward not only but Black people in politics, Black people showing up when it comes to politics. So my first question was, everyone has a defining moment in their life. What was yours, and what made you want to become a community leader? What was that defining moment for you? Because I saw the viral video.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of.
When you really chewed into a couple people.
States waste $3.7 billion enforcing laws every year.
And I know that was probably one of the moments, but what was the defining moment for you that said, I'm gonna go out there, do this, run up against these guys, and be the community leader?
I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate.
For me, a brother was killed by the police in our community. They said he hung himself in Parish Prison. And none of us believed that. None of us believed that that was truly what happened. This was a few weeks before Sandra Bland, but his story didn't go viral. At the time, I was the writer or the publisher of my own publication, and I wrote a column about it. 40,000 people read that column, and it was something that let me know that this is something people in this community really care about. Fast forward through that process, and a lot of the work that I did as a result of that helped change police policy, healthcare policy, contracts and investment in minority-owned businesses. And for me, that is birthed out of tragedy, but still gave me, I think, a door into purpose.
Right, that's amazing. I think I always tell people, when you find your purpose, you find your passion, and you find everything else, you know what I mean? So let's talk about, obviously, the viral video.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody asked you about it. What was the inspiration behind the viral video? Why did you drop it? And whose idea was it?
My comms director at the time came up with the script concept. My media director, Erwin Marino, who shot all of my ads in my campaign for Senate. Erwin, as soon as the script concept was brought, he knew where we were shooting at and how he wanted to shoot it. And because Black folks still going to jail in the South, and that there's a reality that too many Black people are still incarcerated for a flower, and when people are being jailed at the degree of every 37 seconds, then you have to be able to use the platform and the voice that you have to advocate to ensure that people are not stripped of their liberty for a flower.
Right. Did you have any fear before releasing that video? Like, obviously, the video, I think, created the impact you wanted, right?
Gary Chambers' latest ad shows him smoking.
I wanted to play that ad that was the first one you put out that went viral. Every 37 seconds, an American is arrested from possession.
Very curious to see how it plays out in a state like Louisiana.
But did you have any fear before releasing it, after shooting it, seeing it, and saying, we're putting this out, this out? Did you have any fear?
If you know me, fear don't really govern anything I do. It's not I don't even think about it in that light. I think that, truthfully, I'm running for office and I smoke. So I'm gonna tell it before somebody tell it on me, for one, because it's less controversial if I make the decision myself versus allowing somebody else to scandalize something that should not be a scandal in the first place, right? I know elected officials, Black and white, who smoke.
Right.
However, they don't verbally say that or put that in the front street because
still a stigma.
There's a stigma that exists, right?
Still demonized.
However, we don't end stigmas if we don't take the stances that we took. And so for me, it's about this doesn't change if we're not willing to do the work of making change.
So how do you think we can use the plant to right the wrongs in our community that we've been persecuted for so long?
I think there's a lot of money that comes from this, and if Black folks are in the business and the business is good, then Black folk gonna make money. I think that Black people who have been negatively impacted by should be at the front of the line for that. I think that there should be resources put into their businesses from the government, and I think that there has to be a pathway to ensure that the majority of the people who are reaping the harvest from this plant are Black and brown, because the majority of the people who have been negatively impacted have been Black and brown.
Right.
And if we keep that at the forefront of it, equity comes through that, wealth comes through that, opportunity comes through that, and I think that that gives people the ability to have upward mobility on their own and determine their own destiny.
So I find this important to talk to you because when I first got into the space and really put my mind to, okay, so where are the issues? What needs to be better? I always come to, well, there's only one thing we can do as a people to try to change laws and all that. We need to show up to the polls. We need to be politically involved. We need to understand who's for us, who's for the things we are for, who's advocating for, who's doing this. How do you think we get color of people more politically involved? Because I feel like everybody wants to be a rapper, a basketball player, or whatever, and that's cool, you know? But politics is very important for us to know about, and not only for us to be like you and be in it, but also, even if we're not in it, we need to know about it. How do we get people more politically involved in our communities?
All the people you look up to, billionaires, they got politicians that they deal with. They are cutting checks involved in politics. So if you say you want to be like Buffett and Bezos and Gates and them, if that's the bar, you want to be a billionaire, then billionaires play in politics.
Right.
Many in our community emulate the white man. We want to be rich like the white man. We want to float like the white man. We want to stunt like the white man. We want to have all of these things the white man have. Well, vote like the white man.
Yes.
Well, participate in government like the white man. Own and participate in the political process at the same way, because America is nothing but a group of people, a group of white men came together and created a country. Period. Participating in the political process is a group of people selecting who will participate for them in that process, and then determining the destiny of that community.
Yes.
The reason we don't participate is because we don't understand. And that which we don't understand, we walk away from. The reality is, the same way you learn those hip hop lyrics because you listened to it, because you went and got the information, you got to go and get the information. Ain't nobody teach me the things that I learned in government. I went to a city council meeting, I heard some, and then I said, no, this is, then I participated.
You have an obligation to the people of this community, and 81% of them are black.
So when you show up, you're going to undoubtedly discover things you didn't know. When you discover those things, the most powerful role in this democracy is that of a citizen. Barack Obama said that. People love Obama, so I'm gonna give you an Obama quote. So if he says that the most powerful role in the democracy is that of a citizen, then you don't need a position, you don't need a title. You were born a citizen when you were born into America. So your power is in using your voice against those who harm you and for those who will be for you.
Wow. They deep. That's deep. So before we get out of here, let's talk about Black Week. What have you taken from Black Week, and why is it important for you to be here, and why is it important for us to have a Black Week?
I think it's important because I learned a lot. I learned about things that were happening in social equity that I didn't know about. I learned about businesses and people who are in the industry doing things, products that we can support that we didn't know about. For me, you can't talk all of these things about being pro-Black and then your resources, your time, your money doesn't go back into Black people. And so we need to be deliberate and intentional about having conversations. So I welcome this conversation and participated because I think that we need broader tables where we can discuss the equity that we want to see and the future we want to see. And this is what this conversation was here today. And so I think it was beautiful and important.
Okay. Last question I ask everybody here. Flower, edible, concentrate. Which one you going with?
Flower.
All day?
All day.
All day? What's your favorite flower?
I don't have a favorite.
You don't have a favorite? Not like an OG?
But I am a indica, not a sativa.
I knew I liked you for a reason, my brother.
Indica, not a sativa guy,
indica all day.
sure.
Let me show you legal bags, 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 bags. And Black people still going to jail for it.
Listen, there's a brother serving a life sentence for named Kevin Allen. You can do something about it. Go to Last Prisoner Project, use your voice, use your email, and make sure that you are advocating for people, because if you can smoke the plant and somebody else is in jail for it, that ain't liberty or justice.
And that's a fact.